to Miss Martin Muses. Welcome to Miss Martin Muses, where we muse upon what makes me laugh, makes me cry, makes me happy, makes me sad, or just really ticks me off. Well, today we're going to talk about, something that makes me sad, though it wasn't something I was unprepared for because Julian Sands, may he rest in peace, while his remains have been found and identified, he has been missing for several months. And I think the inevitable, we figured that he had passed away. But for the sake, of course, for his family, for closure for them, I'm happy that they found his body. So today we're going to celebrate the best of, or even the worst of Julian Sands. He definitely did a lot of very interesting roles, and also other midweek musings. Well, we have here in the chat, we have Corin Cochran. Hello, am I late? Why, no, you are not. And there am I waving and telling you you are not late. We have Dadman Walking 55. Hello, thank you for being here, as well as Orange Chat. Why, hello there, Orange Chat. Thank you for being here. I saw your video about a tribute to Julian Sands. So if anyone wants to go and have a look at that, please do. Julian Sands was an actor that I knew mainly from the chick flick A Room with the View. That's how I knew him, and Helen Bonham Carter, a Bonnet movie, very romantic, but also known for he showed us everything he has in that quite briefly. But yes, I have seen all of Julian Sands. I know also there are people who mostly know him from Warlock. That is another rather famous role of his. So, Stieg, what are your favorites or movies you've seen from Julian Sands?
Well, Warlock,
Mhm.
is the immediate one. But there's one called The Curse of the Ring, which is
Mhm.
also known as The Ring of the Nibelungs, which is the story about Siegfried the Dragon Slayer. It's a story that inspired The Lord of the Rings in part.
Huh.
And Julian Sands plays the villain in it. It's a two-part, well, not really mini-series. It's a two-part TV movie, I guess. Had Max von Sydow in it. He signed up because he got to play a blacksmith. He he was tired of playing, intellectual roles, so he was offered the role of a simple blacksmith, and he was happy to take it. And funnily enough, though, I watched the behind the scenes of that one, and you had one of the actresses talking about, Julian Sands and what it was like to work with him. And they said that whenever they had a lengthy break for a few days, he went mountain climbing and hiking. They said it
Oh,
was like a mountain goat, just sped up steep areas. So uh, he was clearly a very experienced hiker and and a mountaineer, I suppose. So it's kind of, you have to wonder what happened, right?
yeah. We haven't yet had any analysis, or at least anything that's been released. I remember at the time there was speculation like that perhaps he was met with an accident because he was so experienced. That
Yeah,
or
because he wouldn't seem very accident prone when it comes to hiking, given
mhm.
his experience. But I don't know.
Yeah. Could have been that, could have been a heart attack.
Yeah, could have been one of those died suddenly.
Mhm.
Except he was hiking at the moment. We don't know.
Yes.
Could have had a stroke, what have you. Could have been
Yeah.
foul play as well, or a bear attack. Who knows?
Gosh, yeah. Well, hopefully they'll be able to tell, because the sad news is, or rather gruesome, is he was exposed to the elements and to animals after his passing. So we're
Yeah.
not sure
Yeah.
what we're gonna.
So yeah,
Yeah,
probably wasn't pretty.
no. And though I'm glad the hikers found him. Puddentame kept your DMs. See, Orange Hat reviews. I knew him best from Warlock, Arachnophobia, and Jackie Chan Adventure. Oh, I'm not familiar with him from that. But yeah, Warlock and Puddentame Maury says Warlock. I did get to meet him. I know, and I'm jealous of you forever. Thank you very much. And he called me the Lion Woman because of my hair. Yes, and if you know Maury, she has fire red hair and lots of it.
I've only met the witch woman and the wardrobe woman. Never met the lion woman.
Oh, well, they well, there's always a first time for everything. Yes. Yeah, Maury's met just about everybody. She's a she gets around. And
Julian Sands was Anne Rice's first choice to play Lestat in an interview with a vampire.
oh, and don't get me
Yeah,
started.
that was the author's pick, but the studio went for Tom Cruise instead because bigger name.
Yeah.
Not that Tom Cruise did a bad job or anything,
No.
but that there was the picture you're looking at now as that's how the author saw the character.
Yes. And oh my gosh. Wouldn't he have been perfect? Okay, and speaking of which, yay, she was able to join us. Maury, welcome to Smart and Muses.
Hi.
Hi, I know you're really bummed out about this. You were a
I
huge
know.
fan of his.
I know it sucks.
Yeah.
But like you said, not unexpected, but
Mhm.
wish for a better outcome.
Yes. Yeah. Well, do you want to tell us any more about your you met him more than once or just one time?
Just once.
Mhm.
Yeah, of course he's very charming
Mhm.
and British. Very.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was really nice and he was funny. He seemed I met him at a horror convention.
Mhm.
He seemed pretty amused with like all the cosplays and everything going on. And
Yeah.
I told him I liked Warlock. It's
Yeah.
like because that's like my favorite, and he's like, "Thank you."
Mhm. Yeah, he's one of those that made the room heat up, didn't he? It's like, yeah, it's like, please, I will be your slave for the rest of your love slave. Yeah.
But yeah, he was very nice, very charming, and when he called me the Lion Woman, I went because we went for a photo ops and I got this big red hair that just puffs out everywhere. And
Mhm.
he's like, the Lion Woman.
Yeah. And you're like, I'm gonna tattoo that on my body forever.
Yeah, so I was like, I had the palpitations. I was like, oh my goodness.
Yeah. 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 That was I forget. Well, the HorrorCon that is in Georgia, or was that one in Florida?
Florida. It's in Orlando. It's Spooky Empire.
Spooky Empire. Okay. Cool. And you got his autograph too, didn't you?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Lots of
Yes.
pictures.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's actually my cousin Ava has been working on selling the RV, and she's putting up a flyer. So she's working on my computer. She turned it on. There was the picture of me and Julian Sands on the screensaver.
Mm. And you're just like, oh, yeah, I know. What a guy. What a guy. I mean, can you imagine him, like what Steve was saying about Anne Rice, and if he would have been, gosh, that's Lestat. I mean, what could have been?
Yeah. He said at Spooky Empire that he wanted to be in Harry Potter.
Oh, did he say what role?
Um, I don't think he said what role, but I would think a Malfoy.
Oh gosh, yes, he would have been. He could have been Lucius Malfoy.
Yeah, he would have been like Lucius. Yeah.
Damn. Oh, cool. Yeah, actually, I'm not sure what this picture is from, but yeah, this looks like it could be like an old fashioned thing. Boxing Helena says Fook Norris. Uh, that is weird.
Yeah, it was really weird. That one's very strange.
Isn't that with the Twin Peaks actress?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was in
Yeah.
Thrashing. That's an awesome movie.
Oh, gosh, yes, you may. I on Steve's suggestion, I did watch Thrashing before Twin Peaks. Yeah, yeah. Boxing Helena. That was where this guy gets obsessed. He
Yeah.
took simping to a whole new level and wanted to keep her forever. So like, chopped off her limbs.
Yeah. And then, of course, I don't want to give away the ending, but yeah, then the ending is. It ends up okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. And another movie I liked him in was I think it was a direct to video back in the video store days when we had DVDs. It's called Werewolf Hunter.
Huh.
And he plays like the first serial killer.
Oh.
So in this, he plays a murderer, of course, and he thinks he's a werewolf, and that's how he explains these people ending up dead around him. He just blacks out, and then they're dead.
Oh.
Yeah,
Right.
that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Orange had also mentioned he was in Smallville.
Oh.
He was Jor-El, the dad.
Oh.
Yeah.
See, I didn't watch Smallville. My cousin Billy, he watched Smallville because he liked Superman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and of course, Felice Destruction Out just says, yeah, Sherilyn Fenn. Of course, my favorite role with him is A Room with a View, as we see him here. Gosh, well, he's in. I like those costume dramas, and
Yeah. You need to watch Werewolf Hunter.
Okay, I will.
There's yeah, you'll like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Orange Hat Review says the psychological case of lycanthropy. I should be pronouncing
Lycanthropy.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes.
Yes.
Well, and if you haven't seen A Review, I mean, there's more to the movie than his
that,
brief
yeah.
full frontal. But I can't remember much other than that.
Well, I remember they went down to the pond or whatever, and it was like all those old men come running by.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's just not what you expected. That's all I gotta say. It's just
yeah, it's kind of like what Wellville,
mm-hmm.
someplace like that.
Yeah, and of course the ladies happen to accidentally see it, and he's like, they're all yelling, but yeah, it was funny, but very romantic movie.
Yeah.
And so Helglen Connor, and then this is the Warlock.
I just watched that one.
Yeah,
the first one.
Yeah, does it hold up?
Well,
yes, but you need to keep in mind when it was made.
Yeah.
The effects
yeah.
aren't that good, but it's cheesy fun.
Yeah, story-wise is good.
It's kind of like Wishmaster in tone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not really scary.
No.
But again, just shows the variety of what he does. And of course, though, this is the one that gets me.
Arachnophobia.
I do not like spiders. And Yeah, sitting there with his V-neck, not V-neck. Oh gosh darn it, Widow's Peak. Widow's Peak.
Mhm.
Yeah. Now, did you see Steak? Did you see You've seen Arachnophobia? Surely you have.
Long time ago. It's on my list of stuff to rewatch because I've been rewatching and also watching stuff I had never seen before lately. Basically, going back because new stuff just sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw this in the cinema, and of course, he wasn't the star, but oh my gosh, that movie was because I hate spiders, and so at the very end, when there's all those spiders, and then you see the spider going through the shadow, and just even looking at this right here, where the spider's in there in the jar, it's like no, 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 no. Yeah, and Orange Hat
Was
says,
a jarring experience, was it?
"Oh, yes, it was. Yes, it was." Yeah, Dr. Atherton, thank you. Orange Hat reviews. Yeah, I forget his name. And you saw Arachnophobia in the cinema, I'm sure, Maury. Or did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, really. Those are the two ones. That in Room with the View are the ones that, as far as movies I've watched, stick out for me. But of course, Warlock is kind of classic. Yeah. Orange Hat says he played that role like he was an actual expert in the world of arachnids. Well, yeah, I mean that is his job to act. Yeah, he was a good guy, and the variety of roles that he played was also impressive, most impressive. Yeah. So yeah, and thank you. People keep sharing in the chat what your favorite movies are. Is this the last one I have of Julian Sands? Let me see. Okay, yes. No, he was not the Count of Monte Cristo. So yeah, I just was putting out just some highlights of what I think about his movies. And I don't know what the last movie was or TV show that he was even working on.
I know he was in an episode, I think it was one of those Law and Orders. He played like a conductor for the symphony. He was kind of a bad guy in that.
Okay. Yeah, he did a good job playing bad guys. He was also in some of Miss Marple and Agatha Christie. I'm looking at some of his things.
He was on 24.
Oh yes, yes.
Probably got killed by Kiefer Sutherland.
Oh shoot. I don't know though. Would Kiefer Sutherland be able to take him down?
Yes. In that series, yes.
Oh yes, if it was fictional. Yeah.
Yeah, because he killed everyone. And yeah. As soon as I think what's his name? Sean Astin was interviewed because he was up for a small part in 24, and the interviewer was like, "Yeah, do you think you're gonna die in it?" And Astin said, "Yeah, sure as hell."
Right. I remember about 24. The one that was the craziest was where the terrorist guy had a chip or something in his phone that had some secrets on it, and when he realized he was going to be caught by Jack Bauer, he swallowed it, and Jack Bauer took him with his bare hands and opened up his stomach and grabbed it. I'm just like, damn. Yeah. Oh, he was in The Killing Fields. I'm looking at that here. That's another classic movie. Ocean's 13. Oh, he was in a weird remake of The Phantom of the Opera.
Yes, that was very strange.
Yeah, where he was a murderer, killing people that came into his sewer.
Yeah.
You know what? If in the early 90s or something they'd made The Witcher, he could have played Geralt.
Hell yes. Well, too late. He could have played Geralt's dad. Do Witchers have dads?
Yes, they're actually born.
Okay. I don't know the lore very well. Yeah. Yeah, so... Oh, sorry, more.
Vibes.
Vibes. Okay, yeah.
Cindy Lauper movie. That movie's silly.
Hello, Archer Collins. We have some more people from the future, and Archer Collins is sorry he's late. He was rewatching Babylon 5. Yes, very very good series. Hopefully they're talking about remaking it. Hopefully they change their minds. Oh gosh, Stig, I forgot to even ask you for a report from the future, but I'm assuming it just sucks.
Well, it's getting hot and clammy, and I hate it.
Yeah. How's the seagull?
Oh, the seagull's gone.
Oh, good. So it wasn't just a rumor. Yeah. And Archer Collins, well, you're coming from Britain. Y'all having a heat wave over there, aren't you? They're not used to the heat, and then they melt. Oof.
I can't stand it.
Oh. But when you say hot, let me see.
Yeah, it's not hot by your standards at all. So that should tell you how well I'd survive in Texas, right?
Yeah. Well, it wouldn't just be Texas, the heat. It would be you tell that Alamo joke you always like to tell, and you'd be dead. Was it high?
Maury.
Mm-hmm.
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Europe.
Europe who?
I'm not a poo. How rude of you.
You just never know what kind of things you're going to get when you come on. Yeah, Maury, I do apologize. I was the one who sent you the link. No, we have funnier. When I saw that you were available, I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, because I know that you know a lot about Julian Sands. Steve can't stand it because he's a Viking, I felt. He's used to Nordic winters.
Yeah, I walk around in a t-shirt when you guys are freezing your ass off. It's true.
Well, I do disapprove of the fact that you don't have a proper winter coat because that's like suicide where you live.
No, I have a winter coat. It's open. I have a t-shirt underneath.
No, what you have is not a winter coat. Like my winter coat that I wear when I'm up north, it's like from head to toe with like fake fur, and it's like my head just kind of sneaks out, and I'm wrapped around in a shawl, and I've got big boots. So
yeah, I'm wrapped up when it's 50 degrees.
There we go. Yeah, 50 degrees. That's heat for Steve. Speaking of a cold place, Steve is familiar with where Archer is from because that's where his people used to go raid. Even I remember the Alamo, especially Joan O'Brien and Linda Crystal. Dear me, she has a big what? I already forgot. I don't have brain cells. I actually took a nap. I had asparagus with sauerkraut. Okay, so we're going to be moving away from Julian Sands. Unless is there anything else you'd like to share, Maury?
No, that's about it.
Yeah, it was sad. You sent me the text about that.
Yeah, it was awful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know when people always, remember their big wins in life and all that stuff, great successes. Why is it that Texas keep remembering the Alamo?
Oh, how do I explain? Okay, well, first of all, they were very, very brave, and they were able to hold off like the whole army. And the fact that they did what they did, it gave inspiration and courage to the other ones. So when they were at the final battle, they were like, remember the Alamo. And that made them win the final war.
Well, wouldn't that kind of like just be a warning? Like instead of remember the Alamo, it's like, yeah, remember not to do that again. Like, remember what happens if we fuck up.
No. I'm just thinking because when you go to the Alamo, I can go to the Alamo anytime I want, and they have all these things like, "Please remain quiet out of respect." Men remove your hats and all this, and I could just see you just barreling in like a Tyrannosaurus at a ballet, and
Yeah, I'm not going there. They wouldn't like me.
no.
Because I ask questions.
Founding myth, which we all have, by the way. That is correct. It is Luffy is God. Speaking of someone from also your country, R.I.P. Julian, his last words. Oh, no. No. Okay. His last words were nice day for a walk. Gosh. Well, I mean, to be fair, if it was quick, and that's what I'm hoping it wasn't one of those situations where he broke some bones and then starved to death or was exposed or something. I hope it was one of those things where maybe he fell and hit his head or broke his neck and he was doing what he loved because as Steve said at the beginning, I mean, this dude, he was an avid hiker. He just loved it and uh, yeah, what a guy. The Alamo was America's Battle of Thermopylae. Yeah, Steek. What do you say to that? You see, he's speechless. Checkmate.
Oh, I was muted.
Oh.
Oh no.
I went to squash a bug.
Oh. Was it a big bug?
Yeah. Well, not arachnophobia big. But...
No. And Archer Collins says possibly a similar reason why we remember Dunkirk. Yeah, and of course, many things about Dunkirk were pretty special in showing the British spirit.
That's fun in Allo.
Uh-oh.
Where they have the French characters mocking the English for Dunkirk. And then when you see the English, they'll mock the French.
Yeah. The best part about it, though, was the British people that all just took their little boats and just crossed the water themselves to rescue the people.
The Dunkirk movie was great. Did you see that one?
Oh, hell yes. Yes. I love that movie. Kenneth Branagh. Oh my gosh. And and of course the actress from Allo was in it. I've mentioned this on my Titanic trivia that the British dude with the son and his friend that went on the boat that they showed and all that was actually Lightoller, the guy from the Titanic, the second officer who manned and directed one side of the ship's evacuation site on Titanic, saved a lot of lives, and was able to survive after going down with the ship and getting on an overturned collapsible B. And then he was obviously too old to fight in World War II, but he went and did that. And it was a true story about him avoiding the airplane and all that. But for some reason in the Dunkirk movie, they changed his name. And I don't know if that was a legal thing or what, but that was Lightoller. It was a Viking beetle, says Orange Hat. Liffy's God. Alamo doesn't impress a Viking. You lost. We conquered England on Wednesday. Oh my gosh. Okay, no Norwegians are allowed to visit Texas. I've banned you all. Archer Collins. Of course we don't mock the French. It's rude to mock.
Afflicted.
Oh dear. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, you should have been. Well, the other stream that I was at, the stream the other day where we were doing about Dublin and Ireland, and we had an Irish man in Archer Collins in there going at it. But okay, well, all right. And I think that I asked Maury and Stieg. Anything else you want to say before we go on to our next topic?
Rest in peace.
Yeah. Yeah. And of course, condolences to his family, and I'm glad that they have a body. They have a few, they can have a funeral
Yeah,
now.
have a closure.
Yeah. All right. So the next thing I wanted to talk about, because I like for everyone to share, because a little bit of what Steve said earlier was, going backwards, watching the good stuff and all that, which is, what are you reading? And one of the things that I am rereading is The Count of Monte Cristo, which is an amazing book by Alexander. I call him Alexander Dumas, but I think maybe you don't pronounce the S because it's
Yeah,
French.
it's Dumas.
Dumas. This is one of my favorite books because it is such a good story about revenge and redemption, and the futility of revenge, even though if there were ever any people on the planet that deserved the revenge that was meted upon the people. I mean, he lost his woman, and the movie was too happy, the one with uh Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, because in the movie he got back together with the chick that he lost, and turned out that the child was his. And no, that's not what it was in the book. Is that, of course, she did go and she got married, and that was not his kid. And at the end of the book, spoiler alert, he never got back together with the wife, and I think she was probably dead by that point, but he was able to assist the daughter, and she got married, and she lived happily ever after. Okay, before we go more into that, Archer Collins has a good point about Dunkirk. The retreat to Dunkirk was the last recorded time an English longbow was officially used in battle. I did not know that. Yeah, that's where the Danish Vikings, we are for. Oh, and you're talking about Norway. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
the Danish lost at Stamford Bridge.
Oh, understood. Orange Tower B said I just reviewed the 2002 version of the book. Okay, and that is the one with Jim Caviezel. Yeah, S is silent. Hello, it is all the way from Brazil, our meteor advocate Timon, where in Portuguese the S is not silent. Hello, Miss Martin uses in Sir Stieg. Why do you never hear? Oh no, they're telling jokes. Yes, Jim Caviezel, thank you. I still call him Jesus. Yeah. Again, it's a good movie, but it's not faithful. The most faithful one actually is the version with Richard Chamberlain. That is a very good. It was a TV miniseries in the 70s.
He did a lot of Dumas stuff because he did three Musketeer movies.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, four because he did The Man in the Iron Mask as well, right after The Count of Monte Cristo. So that he's up to 5 Alexander Dumas productions for the screen.
Dang.
Maybe more. I could be missing some, but yeah, he was swashbuckling.
Yeah. The Three Musketeer movies I had seen as a kid, but I recently rewatched them on your recommendation, and the first 2. Dang, those movies were good.
Yeah, the ones from the 70s for whoever's watching. 73 and 74. The Three Musketeers and the Four Musketeers.
Yeah. Hey, there's some crackling going on. I'm not sure where that's coming from. So, if y'all could do a mic check. Yeah. Let's see. See. Oh, well played. Oh, gosh, they're all being silly in there. Well, what I like about, if there is something to like, if this is something to like, it is about in the Three Musketeers where they almost killed one of the stars. I'm gonna do a mic check here. Let's see. Is that it? Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, yeah, Maury, if you would mind doing a mic check. I'm not sure what's going on there. Oh wait, false alarm. Maybe it was someone else. Maybe it was me.
It's not me.
Yeah, I know. Let's see. Oh, okay, there it is. All right, yeah. All right. Tommy and the Guinea Pig Collective is here. Yes, yes. And Archer Collins says, I remember that one. Chamberlain had some good co-stars as well. Raquel Welch and Jenny Agutter. And sounds like someone has, yeah, it's okay. It happens. It happens. Sometimes we have sound issues. Let's see if maybe we can get them fixed. Ah, there we go. Oh, wait. Now it's coming back. So, yeah, we'll see what's going on there. It's Dyson. It's okay. It happens. So, oh, for crying out loud, quit. we're solving it. Hello there. Everyone's saying hello there. Yeah, so Count of Monte Cristo is one of those that I am watching and which I love more than life itself. Rereading, as well as in the versions that we were saying. And yeah, we almost lost a very good actor. And he got stabbed, and they kept it in there. That's what kills me. If you watch the Three Musketeers movie, it is a situation where he gets stabbed in the neck, and you can see it. So right after they said cut, they probably tried to murder him. It's like, dang. So, alrighty. So that's one of the books that I am reading right now. And yes, please share what you're reading in the chat. Yeah, Explore Create. This is one I have recently finished. And this one is let's see, by Richard Garriott. You are familiar with him, Steve?
Yeah.
And I read this on your recommendation. He's the man who created Ultima and has been to the lowest part of the ocean as well as the highest part. He has been into outer space. He almost died in visiting the Titanic about 20 years ago. I think he was down in one of those submersibles, obviously a much better submersible.
Yeah, he was interviewed recently about the tragedy as well.
Yeah. And he knew the people. He knew the people that had were underneath, or at least he knew the French dude. And what's it, Jean Henry? And I think he also knew one of the other ones as well. And it's just really sad, you know.
Yeah, and the people who made that submersible were warned time and time again.
Mm-hmm.
But it was something about a diversity shit that they were pushing.
Yeah, there was that part of it, but he was also reckless as well because he just didn't do any testing. But it is a little disturbing when he was saying he would rather have people that inspire than like a 50-year-old white man who has military experience, etc. And I just remember thinking, I would far rather, actually, I don't give a rat's rear end what color they are. I want somebody with experience. And if you want to quote unquote inspire, I am not against legitimate diversity efforts because, you know, I understand why you might want to do that, but then recruit people so that when the time they're 50, they have the experience, but don't put people that are less experienced in charge.
Yeah, basically, he killed people with his virtue signaling. There's no other way to put it.
Yeah, it's really, really sad. But what's eerie about this particular situation, because this book Explore Create starts off with a very terrifying way of his description. He's underneath the Titanic. They get stuck underneath the Titanic. I forget what happens. I don't know if they hit it accidentally or something.
Yeah, the keel.
Yeah, and was it that they didn't see it, or
no? There was some things sticking up at the top. It bumped into the keel, and they got stuck. And they whipped up sand and dirt and whatever, so the visibility went down to zero, and the the people above them, you know, couldn't find them because they only picked up the Titanic. They couldn't find their submersible because it was under it.
Hmm. And there was about, I think, an hour where they had to wait, I think, for the engine to shut down and come back on. And he talked about at that moment realizing that he might die. And die in this case, it would be because of suffocation, the very thing that they feared had happened to the people on the Titan.
Or they'd freeze to death.
Hmm. Yeah.
It's cold down there.
Yeah. What do they say? It's about like four degrees, so well below freezing. Well, because that's what killed most of the people on Titanic. Many of them would have survived. They for the 2 hours needed, perhaps, in for the Carpathia to come pick them up because they did have life jackets, but they had like 15 minutes max in that kind of cold water. So, but luckily with him, as he describes in his book, they were able to start up their engine again and be safe and move on. But I think that he had said that that was one of the most terrifying moments of his life.
Yeah,
So,
that certainly makes sense.
yeah.
Yeah, Fuck Norris mentioned that the Ultima series has taken up years of his life.
Yes.
Yeah, that basically started the computer role playing game genre.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so many milestones in that series. It's ridiculous. It's the first game where the NPCs have schedules.
Mm-hmm.
First one that has a day and night cycle that also affects the NPC schedules because you can't go to the store at night because the guy's in his home in the building over there sleeping or at the pub. So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
yeah,
It changed everything.
all kinds of stuff that we take for granted today. Um, a lot of it was due to the Ultima games.
Yep. So you can either thank him or blame him. Archer Collins says, I'm currently working my way through the original Conan books. Yay.
Yeah,
I'm
those are
assuming.
great.
Yeah. Okay, we have Maury back. Is your sound working okay?
Seems to be.
Yay! So we solved it. Yeah, someone's going out and come back in is all you need.
Yeah.
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 And I'm assuming you mean the Robert E. Howard ones, of course. But the Robert Jordan ones, the Conan ones, are good as well.
Yeah, I like them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm assuming more you were also following the whole Titan situation.
Yes.
Yeah. It was just so ironic that, well, the Titanic claimed more people for the
Same
similar reasons.
reason.
Yeah. Ignoring warnings.
Not doing things the right way the first time.
Mm-hmm. Though, I mean, what kind of an idiot, though? It's okay. We're going to mix the metals, and everyone's saying this isn't safe.
So, I mean, how arrogant do you have to be?
Yeah. I mean, I guess the best thing you can say about the captain, the guy in charge, he at least died. The owner of the White Star Line, he chickened out and took one of the seats in the lifeboat when he was the one that one could argue caused the situation. Yeah. Okay. Urchicon says, talking of explorers, any of you good people old enough to remember one Jacques Cousteau?
Shot
No.
Cousteau?
No, I'm not familiar with it. Luffy's God said, I just started reading Discworld by Pratchett. Finished Dante a while ago. Ah, okay. Well done. Yeah, 2 thumbs up.
Terry Pratchett was the most exported product in England for a while in the 90s.
Oh,
That's pretty insane.
Dang. I did not know that either. And yet people are saying how much they love him. And then Archer Collins says, I'm not sure, but it may still be true that more people have been to the moon than to the bottom of the ocean. Probably. It's probably safer. Yeah. And then currently playing the remastered version of the Bard's Tale trilogy. And yep, I couldn't remember the author. Also was recommended that Conan fans at least try. See, Robert Adams' Horse Clans series. Not familiar.
I think you'd also like David Gemmell
Mm.
if you like Conan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you heard it here first.
Oh,
I
and
picked,
Michael Moorcock.
yeah, a good writer from what I hear, but with an unfortunate name.
Yeah,
Probably got made fun of at school. I picked. Okay, people are in the chat are talking about that. Okay, so Explore Create is one of those. So if you have not read it, it is a fascinating read for everything that we said. What does it say? Gamer, adventurer, and pioneer. He also did a lot of stuff like in the Arctic. And of course, this is what we're reading in our final book stream, which will be this Saturday. We're going to be finishing this up. Magician Master, the works of Raymond E. Feist. And fantastic, fantastic book.
10 out of 10. I started reading the next one. It's been a while, and I wanted to read the two sequels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it makes me want to read them, but I just because this is a reread for me. But I I want to finish the actual series first because I'll just start from the beginning again, and I want to plow on to the end. I think I have. We figured out I have about 7 left to read.
9.
9, well, 9, 7. Let's see. Archer Collins says, I read the Belagariad many years ago. Horse Clans is a post-apocalyptic set fantasy. Yes.
But Bulgaria that's the David Eddings quintet. The first one. It's 5 books. I think you have them.
I do have them. Yeah, he passed away, what, about 10 years ago, I think?
Yeah, and he wasn't a good person.
Sadly, no. We learned some things about him, I believe, after his death.
Yeah, it was. I think his kid or something was on the spectrum, and he put him in a cage and shit.
Yeah, and had his kid taken away from him, obviously, by...
Yeah, it got really bad, and he had to move from England to the U.S.
Yeah. So I don't know. It had some vibes of Mr. Rochester putting his crazy wife in the attic, but in that case that was fiction and it was in the 1820s, and it was better to do that than put her in an asylum. This was a kid being put in a cage, and you think that there would have been some other alternative to that before.
Oh, Archer Collins is asking. I recommended Gemmell. If you like Conan, a lot of people tend to also like David Gemmell. I also recommend the writing of David Eddings, because aside from what he did in his personal life, he's actually a very good writer.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's one of those situations where I really, truly wish that I hadn't learned that, because I had looked him up on Wikipedia, and I'm like, I have to admit, it's affecting my desire to read his books. Which, if you really think about it, a lot of writers are like not necessarily good people.
I found out when you did, and you can't tell from his writing. Let's put it that way, because his books are pretty much almost cozy. Okay. you fall asleep, Teresa? I think we've lost Teresa for a bit.
Yeah, it seems so.
Probably the cat did something. I hate that cat.
Benedict.
No, Benedict's fine. It's
Maple Leaf.
yeah, Maple Leaf.
I
I mean,
just came back and oh, wait, you're talking about my cat?
yeah, we blame the cat.
Oh no, it was a phone call from my doctor that I absolutely had to take. No,
Oh,
Maple
no.
Leaf is barricaded out. Yeah,
He's playing in out.
yeah. Steve
Wow.
hates my cat, and it's not fair. No. Oh dear, I just realized what you said, Gord King, and I had a screen on there. Archie Fun says, you can't always tell. I didn't find out that one of my favorite authors was a monster to her kids until after she passed away. Sudden silence. Oh, yeah, that was me. That was me. Yeah, cats are evil. Yeah, they are evil. Yeah, this is the boomer stream, apparently. Usually I do not have these kind of interruptions, but again, I had to take that phone call. It was very important. Oh, good. Orange Hat. They kicked out your comment, but I just saved it. Does anyone here know about the hidden Kennedy daughter who was locked away for her mental retardation? Yes. She was it was Mary Kennedy, I think. And she was given a lobotomy. And yeah, they kind of kept her out of sight. I mean, they didn't lock her away per se. They just didn't bring her out in public. And once again, she was one of those people that because they were so rich, her situation was probably better than if she had perhaps been in some of the mental institutions then. But, you know, in many cases, sorry.
They tried a lobotomy on JFK as well from a distance, I believe.
Oh. Oh.
You naughty boy.
Oh my gosh. Oh gosh,
there were two surgeons involved, I think.
I don't even want to ask. Yes, but one of the sad things about mental illness and like the really bad one, they didn't know what to do. And so they would often do that. But yeah, obviously there are more humane ways. Apparently Orange Hat Reviews is shocked, I tell you, Steeg.
He's flabbergasted,
shocked.
He's like, that was an astute observation.
Oh, not astute. Genie back. That reminds me, I recently finished watching I, Claudius. That's messed up. Have you seen that, Maury? I, Claudius?
No.
Yeah, it's a 70s, like a BBC series, obviously about Claudius, who was one messed up dude. Those Roman emperors. Oh gosh, sorry.
Caligula as well.
Oh, yeah.
With Malcolm McDowell.
Yeah.
He had creative ways to entertain himself.
I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, all of those emperors were BS crazy. I mean, the thing that's really kind of messed up is the one that was kind of normal was Julius Caesar. It's like, well, why couldn't they have done all those assassinations to all the crazy ones?
Well, that's why they killed him. It wasn't crazy, so he stood out.
Yeah, well, it was a political thing. Yeah, well, I think actually, was it Caligula? He might have actually been assassinated. He might have been too crazy. At least he wasn't Caligula. Yeah, no, they're talking about. Yeah, Orange Hat Reviews is impressed with your dark humor, Steve. Oh no, Gord King. If it were true, BBC, it would have been called Oi, Claudius. I didn't see the McDowell film, so Caligula will always be the late John Hurt for me. Yeah. Oh. And let's see. We just missed having Caligula as the war doctor and Caligula as the war master. Oh, I'm assuming from Doctor Who. And then, yes, Caligula was assassinated. Yeah, he was a nutter. He had it coming. By his own bodyguard, yes. Yet no one liked it. Well, I'll tell you, they're the easiest ones to kill. Um, so no one liked him. He had it coming. But then he wasn't he yeah, and he was but unfortunately he was the one that gave us Caligula, who was a nutter as well. All right, so Remedy Feist Magician Master, that's what I'm reading. And Stieg, what else? What are you reading?
Well, I'm
Besides
reading
all these?
the second book in a new Joe Abercrombie trilogy, which is awesome. Um, one of my favorite writers. He's been labeled, what is it, Lord Grimdark? Because
Oh my god.
that's what he writes. It's dark and grim. I like
Yeah.
it.
Well,
So
we approve.
yeah, gonna have to because I'm reading it. And the second, and I'm finishing the Word and the Void trilogy by Terry Brooks. I'm on the third book, 150 pages. Well, not even that left.
Oh, well, okay, cool. And yeah, I don't know. You reading anything more? You like the movies and stuff more.
Yeah, I'm more of a movie person.
Yeah. Okay. Well, and of course, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Though a lot of these have been adapted into movies and into TV series. The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe by C.S. Lewis. I recently reread that because I was on Mando's stream where she was talking about it. It's a very quick read. Relatively good adaptation. I think I enjoyed it. Some people hate it in more ways than me, but um, it's a fun book. It's definitely sometimes I think people wrongly try to compare the work with Tolkien's work, and it couldn't be any different for what they were doing, what the content was, and even who the audience was. But a good story. And that's the end of the books. Now we're just The Hobbit. I just got this, and I know Steve, you just got finished reading this. This is a comic adaptation of The Hobbit with Charles Dickens, who many of us know. And you enjoyed that one, didn't you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty close adaptation to the book.
Yep. Oh yeah, I've made him a senator. I'm looking forward to reading this, and sometimes it's never the same as actually reading the material, but good graphic novels are ways to enjoy a lot of these classic works and these fun works, and they're usually very much worth it. Yeah, yes, I saw the BBC adaptation. Yeah, unfortunately the 70s one suffered from it just didn't have the good special effects. Yeah. And let's see. Luffy's God says Dixon is a comic book writer known for Batman and Punisher, like the book. Yes. Yeah, very, very famous. And now he's, I know, doing some work for some independent comic creators.
Well, he did a Conan novella recently that I bought. I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was bad.
Well,
that one was I read a lot of Conan. That one there was not good. Yeah. But I read other stuff by Dixon, and it's been superb. So it's just it's that one. That one didn't work for me whatsoever.
Yeah. Well, everyone has their own issues, if you will. Not always do something perfectly. And I think that Chuck Dixon would be the first person that would take constructive criticism because he's a professional.
Yeah, well, he's going to have to live with it because I'm not going to say it's good if I don't think it is.
Yeah.
But that being said, the stuff I've read from him before has been great. I was actually surprised I didn't like it.
Hmm.
You know, but oh, he also did the Wheel of Time graphic novel for book one. For some reason, they stopped with book one though,
Hmm.
which is a shame because that one was done really well.
Yeah, it's almost as though they could have continued with it, um, or rather, maybe they didn't continue with it because of money, because it wasn't selling well. I don't know.
Don't know.
Yeah, we don't know either. Yeah, well, now I wanted to go into some of the video games. As everyone knows, I always play Skyrim all the time, all day, all night, and in the mornings too. But but lately, I have gotten into Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, and I'm loving it. And well, hating it a bit too because I sometimes get very frustrated. And Steve, I think you're replaying it right now as well.
Oh, actually, right now,
Oh, literally! Oh, you're doing it while you're doing the stream.
yeah,
How dare you, sir? No, it's okay. I I know you can multitask.
I'm just doing question marks and stuff. So,
No, understood. Because you've got what Skellig? You're in the Skellig part.
yeah, I just went to Skellige. So
Skellige, yeah.
yeah,
Now, as far as the TV show, we know that they're going to be coming up with season 3, which I have said I'm not going to bother watching. Maury, have you all been watching the Witcher TV show?
No,
No.
no.
it has except for the names of the characters, it has nothing to do with the story they're trying to adapt. It's just they just used it to have an inbuilt audience for their show,
Hmm.
and then just took the names and the characters and did whatever the heck they wanted with a few scenes here and there from the books. But yeah, it's
Yeah, and it's unfortunate because if you're going to spend all that money, you may as well adapt it the way it's supposed to be from the source material, and you would have a built-in hit. And instead, they've lost Henry Cavill, for crying out loud.
yeah, who actively wanted the
Yeah,
the part.
yeah, which is just well, it's their fault. It's their fault. And I mean, and from what I understand, it's just so ridiculous that it's not even worth watching season 3. I started watching season 2 and I just quit. And I haven't even read the source material. And I was just like, the only thing I guess I liked was the one that I learned later was a short story with the vampire thing, the Buffa, and the kind of reverse Beauty and the Beast. So yeah. Taking existing popular IP, says Archer Collins, and completely change it. Surely no one would do that. Wait, yeah, they only did that with the Wheel of Time. They did it with the Shannara, and sadly, it looks like they're going to be doing it with the Magician works. So, which is unfortunate, very unfortunate.
Yeah, I've seen websites now actively asking for race and gender swaps of the characters. So now the showrunners can go, yeah, but that's what the fans wanted.
Yeah. Uh-huh. See, sometimes I wonder when they see those kind of things if that's not ringers doing that.
Oh, they're pretty much just telling people what to write. Just do an article about race swapping and why it's great, and then we can justify it.
Yeah. And they're shills.
Yeah.
Yeah. Without giving away too many secrets, when I say I was all I almost a shill, but we weren't shills because Maury and I we worked together on Once Upon a Fan, so we know a little bit about some of that behind the scenes stuff. But we all kept our souls intact,
Mm-hmm.
and it was appreciated by the showrunner. I guess that's more as I should say, but yeah, because we did keep it all very hush hush. Yeah, those were good times. Uh, and I think that Once Upon a Time just made it under the radar before they really started going overboard with that kind of stuff. Um, yeah, can't say I ever bothered with the show, says the Gourd King. I like the idea of Cavill as Geralt, but went from the outset. There was some bad casting choices. Yeah, because I've only started playing the game, but I heard that the game is more faithful, if you will, to the book, even though it's not considered canon. And the character, the Jennifer casting, I heard was off, and so was Triss. Didn't they mess up Triss too?
Oh, Triss got race swapped
And
because
old and ugly.
Triss is a redhead, so can't have that. But
Yeah.
yeah, Yennefer, the problem with her isn't necessarily the race swap; it's the age.
Yeah.
Because Yennefer and Geralt portray themselves as Ciri's parents for a while,
Oh,
and Yennefer looks like she's 20 in the show. So, and Ciri's like 12 in the show, so she must have had her when she was 8.
oh, that's weird. Yeah. Um, I think that we could agree that the best part of the show, besides of course Henry Cavill, who's just perfection, you can just look at him, is the song, the "Throw a Coin to Your Witcher" song, because that's a great song. But see, you told me that Dandelion they were going to actually uh, do something weird with him, like where they were going to make him gay. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but that the character is actually a big ladies' man, and that's gonna change things around. So, but I do like his singing. 2 thumbs up. So that's a game that I'm playing, and I'm not sure you do any video game playing, Maury, but y'all do, or at least your housemates do drones.
Yeah, and he flies drones. The games I play are like cat collector.
Yes.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, you showed me that. Yeah, yeah.
Old lady games.
Old lady. Hey, there is nothing wrong with old lady games as long as if you're having fun with them, then that is what is the most important. And the one about Kitty Hotel, I think, was the one that you were telling me
Yeah,
about.
that was
Kitty
really
Hotel.
cute.
Another thing they did with the Witcher show is makes no sense is the elf lady who's a sorceress
Mm-hmm.
who killed all the babies basically, did a massacre.
Yes.
Yeah, that doesn't happen in the books.
Oh.
Plus, the events that leads to her getting into power hasn't happened yet. They're doing those events in season 3, so she shouldn't be in charge of anything at that point. So they couldn't even keep a timeline that makes sense.
Oh.
And she was not pregnant in the books either, and she didn't lose a child. So they just made that up to make her, I don't know, pro-choice or whatever. I don't know what they meant with it.
Uh.
But it's not there. So they spent hours on a plot line that doesn't fit and that also wasn't in the books.
Oh, that's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Well, those bastards. You see, that's almost where I'm glad that I haven't read it beforehand, before all this came out, because then I think I would be really mad. Or if I'd have read Shannara or Wheel of Time, I would have been really, really mad if it would have turned out that they would have done this and fecked it up, because
Oh, it was right from the get-go,
mhm.
pretty much. Well, no, episode 1 or whatever it was stuck fairly close to the source material. And then you had some episodes where they adapted some short stories, but yeah, it was pretty damn bad.
Yeah. And again, just a waste. And with this talk about them redoing the Harry Potter, I mean,
That is
like,
ridiculous.
it's like, first of all, with their minor flaws, the movies were perfection. There were some choices and truncated things they did in the sixth and the seventh movies, but there's no reason to remake the Harry Potter books except for the fact that I think that they're just gonna erase them. And I don't know if J.K. Rowling is in charge of it, but I can imagine them trying to, race swap, turn characters like Ronald be gay or something, and or trans. I mean, that is something just to get a dig at Rowling.
Well, can they do it without her approval though?
I don't know.
That's another thing that might happen is that Rowling approves of all kinds of stuff just to score points with the SJWs again.
Could be, but
Because
surely,
she's only against the trans stuff, not gay people or race swapping.
yeah. On the other hand, in the original, she was well. You had gay characters. I mean, even before she came out and said that Dumbledore was gay and so was Grindelwald. I mean, you could see it. It was plain as day that they were a couple. Um, yeah. Well, Gord King, yeah, that's what I was saying. Is that I had some I did not like especially the sixth and seventh that they were truncated, but as far as an adaptation, I don't see how you could improve upon that. That's my humble opinion. Archer Collins says I tried to watch the Foundation series but couldn't finish it. It had the makings of a very good sci-fi show, but had so little in common with the books. It was practically in name only. Yeah, 20 points is not working out so well for some. Yeah. Well, I mean, here's the thing that I think Rowling maybe hasn't figured out yet, or maybe she has, and this is just speculation. You could never get back in the good graces. There is no redemption in this new religion of wokeness. I mean,
Mm-mm.
people that used to go around burning witches at the stake were more tolerant than the modern woke. Because again, you at least could repent.
Well,
You're
as soon as you apologize to a full-blown narcissist, it's not going to work. You've just given them all the ammo they'll ever need.
Mhm. Precisely. Yeah, never apologize to a narcissist. I mean, I'm still holding on to the theory if you have done something wrong, you should apologize, and if the person takes it the wrong way, that's on them. But like if you're apologizing and you did nothing wrong, for example, like Archer Collins says here, J.K. Rowling said women exist. She has nothing to apologize for as far as that is concerned. Archer Collins says, yes, rule number one, you can never be pure enough. No. They out Puritan the Puritans.
Yeah, if you apologize to those nutcases, they'll use it as ammo forever.
Darn right.
Like, it's basically you admitted we were right.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But my opinion on a lot of these situations, don't engage. Don't engage.
Oh,
You'll never win.
yep.
What they
Learned that
want
the
is
hard way a few times.
yes, and as have I. And basically, what they're wanting is your oxygen, and that is the one thing of which you can starve them. The Gourd King says, I think the intention of the show, from what I've heard, is that they want to do a season per book and adapt it faithfully. Whether that means how the books were or Rowling's retconning, we shall see. You see, and that's where I'm just like, Bolshevik. Nope, nopester, nada, not going to happen. They say it's going to be faithful, and then there's going to be from a person a certain point of view.
Yeah, they'll say it's going to be faithful, but they don't say the percentage.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like the first 5 minutes are going to be faithful. And then the rest, well.
Yeah, it's the showrunner for The Witcher said, yeah, season 3 is going to be more faithful to the books. When she did season 1, before season 1, she said that we're going to stick to the books completely. as far as they could. So she's a liar,
Yep.
and already they're going to introduce the character named Milva, who doesn't show up in book three. She shows up in book four, but she's an archer, and in the show they've given her a sword. She's a swordswoman, master swordswoman, I think. So yeah, she was kind of iconic with a bow, so they gave her a sword.
Hmm.
And she just said that we're going to be faithful to the books, even more so in season three. Almost
Hmm.
in the same sentence. I mean, come on.
Fool me once, shame on you. Yeah, Orange Hat Review says the books are great, but they can't adapt them faithfully. Now they wouldn't pass the ESG rating if they did. No. Well, we already know what they would do already. She's pretty much established that Hermione is race swap. That's what she did in her play. And then, well, Harriet Potter will live under the stairs. Yeah.
They always race swap the smart ones though, never the dumbasses.
Yeah, because the dumb ones are going to be the white men. So Ron will definitely stay white and male.
Oh yeah, a Malfoy too.
Oh, the Malfoys, absolutely. It's like the joke goes with the Rings of Power. Who is Sauron? Sauron's the only white man in the. There's only one white man. That's Sauron. Now, Maury and I though just got done watching a series which I think shows you can do the quote unquote ESG stuff and all that and do it organically, and without all the stuff that go pounding over your head, and that is Manifest.
Yeah, that was great.
That was fantastic.
And the show Siren about the mermaids, it got canceled a while back, but that was
No.
that was very good, and that was just like everybody together.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't matter who was playing what part.
Yeah. And I guess that's a good example, doing original works. I mean, because like it or not, these works are written the way they are when they were for a reason. But yeah, so make your own. And I think that's what a lot of people have been saying all along. And you can, well, I'll just say this about Manifest. They canceled it, didn't they? But Netflix has a brain sometimes and realized money is sometimes more than other things. And when it became like the top streaming thing, they decided to finish it, and still has and they still have their white male characters. See, that was the other thing. Charming from Once Upon a Time, Josh Dallas is a white male, and he is the hero of the show and stayed the hero of the show to the very end. So it was you don't see that too often. Manifest, don't know that one. It just got done. Now, it kind of was Lost meets Highway to Heaven. I think that might be a good way to describe it. Yeah. Manifest, yeah. So, it's a bit sappy, but, I think that's also what made it kind of popular is people want to have entertainment that makes them feel good and happy. And because part of it was not to give too much of the plot away, but the premise is these people, were on this mysterious flight that disappeared and came back. And then they were having all these like coincidences. And one of them, they were hearing like little whisperings that they called callings. And so like, it would be like someone that was trapped under some rubble and they'd save their life, or they would like fix a problem that was like in their past, that it would call them to a certain place. So that's like the whole Highway to Heaven part of it. So for a great deal of the series, each episode was solving that while trying to solve the bigger mystery of what happened during those 5 years. And I wasn't going to recommend it until it ended, which it did. And they landed the ending. No pun intended. Yeah. Maybe I'll be doing a stream about that. I'm trying to get together some people that watched it. And yes, I cried. I cried so hard. The whole last episode. Yeah,
I was tore up. I was doing the ugly cry.
Yeah.
Asthma attack.
Yeah. It's like the ending was so good. It gave me an asthma attack and of nervous breakdown. I had to eat 5 tubs of chocolate afterwards. But it was great. It was great. And
Yeah, it was very good.
yeah. And again, has a white male hero who happens to be Josh Dallas, who's awfully cute with his baby blue eyes. Yeah, I never got to meet him. That's my only regret. He was not doing conventions or meetups or anything like that, so I was not ever able to meet him in person. But he started doing it after Once Upon a Time. Yeah, and we're going to be doing more Once Upon a Time streams. We're going to try to do Once Upon a Time in Wonderland. But yeah, that's some good stuff. So yeah, how do they not call it Woman Fest? Okay, well let's see. So that's kind of what we've been. Well, of course, we did our tribute to Julian Sands. We did that at the beginning and shared a lot of things. May he rest in peace, and may his family also have peace and closure. But we went through some of the books that we've been reading, and people have been sharing them, and some of the video games. Another video game actually that I didn't mention that I did enjoy playing was the Arkham Asylum, the Batman. That's a good one. Archer Collins says, people keep complaining that these ideologues have to race swap existing characters instead of adapting original African stories. The problem is that when they do that, we get the Woman King and Cleopatra. Well, exactly. Yeah, the whole Woman King situation where people were like, she's the one that sold her people into slavery.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then you were racist for not liking it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Very
Yeah, if you don't like
stupid.
the slaver, you're a bad person.
Yeah. And then, of course, they insulted the entire nation of Egypt. It's you're exactly right. And I always like to give the example of Black Panther. You know, that was a superhero written as obviously an African character, and look at how enormously popular that movie was. And it wasn't just because of the African American community going to see it. It would not have made like 2 billion if it wasn't a good movie. And it was a good movie. It wasn't great, but it was okay. It's MCU, you know, but it was really, really good. And it shows you that, yeah, if you can create a character of any race, and you don't have to race swap or do like what they did with the Little Mermaid. We have Cork in the house, all the way from the future, from the only city in Ireland worth talking about. It is Mountains of Elysium. Greetings from God's own country, the hallowed ground of Cork. Yes, can't stay, but wanted to drop by and give the stream a like. Yes, precious. We love Cork. Yeah, and Greece. Oh, yeah, they ticked off Greece as well. Oh, speaking of which... now Potato Revan's come into the house, who's probably going to tell us something else. He's from a different city and has said a few things about Cork, which we have taken exception to. But we found common ground that we're all from Munster. Orange Hat Review says, insulted not just Egypt. Oh, yeah, there we go. And decried the false Cleopatra. Well, and you see, I think part of that also, I mean, it was bad enough what they did, but then they had the nerve to call it a documentary, which was like insult to injury.
No.
Yeah. I mean, and unpopular opinion, Black Panther's kind of crap. Yeah, I mean, well, you know, you can like what you like. It's a free country. There's some of the MCU movies that everyone thinks are awesome that I wasn't too crazy about, like Infinity War.
Yeah.
It wasn't as great as people said. And I enjoyed Endgame from the sense of the whole body of work. I still think Endgame was a very flawed movie. With all the race swap, I expect to see the next Black Panther played by Henry Cavill. Oh, no, it doesn't go in that direction. Oh, no, I wish Star Wars would do a race swap. Yeah, we here at Miss Martin Muses, we prefer to pretend it doesn't exist.
Yeah, there's only like 3 Star Wars movies.
Well, I still say 6. I like the prequels. Yeah, we can agree to disagree there. Yes.
I mean, I think the prequels were cast well. I like everybody in the roles, but
there were some missed opportunities and some flaws in the execution.
Yeah.
But compared to the sequels, it's a
A
masterpiece.
masterpiece. Yes. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, everyone's saying evening. Archer evening, man, weather good out your way. Yeah, so yeah, we've got the British and the Waterford and the Cork. A Jar Jar is a hero. Yeah, well, is he a hero? Well, the only thing Jar Jar did wrong was not kill Ahsoka. Or I mean, now that we know what we know, Ahsoka should have died. I actually liked Ahsoka, um, mainly because the little people in my life liked her, and so it's like okay. And um, I have since it's been shown to me the flaws of the Clone Wars. But once again, even the issues with the Clone Wars cartoon is nothing compared to what's going on now. Yeah. Potato Ribbon. How the fans treated Jar Jar actor and the Jake Lloyd was abysmal. It's honestly shameful. Well, was it the fans or was it the
media
it,
treated Jar Jar bad.
yeah.
The actor.
Yeah, and he even has said it was not the fans. It was
the media.
They were terrible to him. They called him like, prissy from like Gone with the Wind, and how could he do that? Yeah. Now, Jake Lloyd, I know this for a fact because he lived in the same city I was, and he went to the local high school. He was bullied relentlessly by his peers, but the fans, no. I mean, like we would see him like in Barnes and Noble and stuff, and people would be all nice to him. Yeah. So I mean, just gonna slightly disagree with you there, but I can understand where you get that idea because you have to dig deep to find it. And I remember because I was there, I lived through it. You lived through it too, Maury. It's like it was Newsweek, it was all that, and we were all like, "Hey, we hate Jar Jar."
Okay, Jar Jar's character's kind of dumb, but this is an actor portraying him. I mean, we have nothing against the actor.
Yeah, and that was when bulletin boards and things, that's where we would gather on these websites. And we were pretty adamant. It's like, just because we don't like the character doesn't mean we don't like
the actor who played Jar Jar said in an interview not too long ago that the fans never bullied him. The fans were always good to him. It was the media that bullied him because they were doing Jar Jar skits and all kinds of stuff like that, and mocking him and the character. And he said the fans didn't do that. It was the media, talk show hosts, and all that stuff.
Well, then you got Lucasfilm blaming the fans for not liking their Disney stuff.
Yeah, that was when I think we first saw the first big wave of blaming the fans and calling us names and all of that, which is why they're a crap company. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, gee, I wonder why their movies aren't doing good. When you have professionals acting unprofessional.
Darn right.
Even if you don't like the movie, like Disney, you're gonna see. I mean, you see actors, producers, writers calling people who are the fans or these movies are made for, and calling them all these names. They're like, that is just I don't even know what that is.
It's certainly not how you deal with criticism.
No. And it's like they're paying customers, and then people are like, okay, then I'm not going to go watch your stuff. No one's going to go pay and give money to people that are crapping all over them. And then it's like, why does this fail? Or
they blame the fans if it fails still, because they're racist for not watching it. It's like, yeah, if you don't watch it and give it a 10 out of 10, you're a racist.
Yeah. I mean, one of my favorite weirdo things was when the new Little Women movie came out, and that was a classic example of bad marketing because the actual movie wasn't that bad, but the marketing was all, this is a woman movie for women, for women, for women, and it's like, well, yeah, it is called Little Women. And then when a bunch of men didn't go see it, they were like, men are sexist for not going to see it, and everyone's like, you said it wasn't for men.
No,
And
it's just stupid.
yeah.
Yeah, well, you have those directors and stuff that uh, will attack men before the movie's even out and say, "Yeah, this movie's not made for you," and then it
Yeah.
flops, and then yeah, sexism destroyed the movie. Like you literally told us not to watch it because it's not for us.
Precisely. And
And then and then other people who they're like saying it was made for. Well, it's like I don't want to go support you if you're just calling people sexist, but now and the movie hasn't even been out yet. I don't want to go see this movie.
yeah. Well, and
And
also the movies are crap.
sometimes the media will hamper a movie's chances. It, we saw that with The Last Duel, which was portrayed in the media as a highly feminist movie. It wasn't.
Nope. It was a great movie.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah. I didn't go see it for that very reason. I'm like, well, I don't want to see this crap. And then you saw it and you told me, oh my gosh, it's actually a good movie. They
Yeah,
shot themselves in the foot.
no, the media did.
Yeah,
The
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 media
people
rather.
the people involved with the movie didn't say anything.
Yeah. Though
See,
some
I guess that's the key there. The media downplays it, and the studio doesn't. And maybe we should go see it.
yeah. Well, I would say get woke, go broke, except for the fact that that's not always the case. That's not always the case. Sometimes getting woke, people just do just fine. But before we go forward, I have to pause here. There is an elf in the house. I tell you, there is an elf in the house. The one, the only, our Lady Toriel is here. We love Lady Toriel here at Miss Martin Muses and wish her well.
Yeah,
She
she
said,
is certainly not woke.
no.
No.
No. And hello. Wow. Woke is a joke. I can't wait for things to swing back the other way. I will catch the replay. Thank you very much.
I hope it swings back brutally because here's the problem with normal people, right? That they'll always try to be polite and forgiving.
Hmm.
But in this case, by being forgiving and being polite, you're enabling it the next time it's happening because they've
Yeah.
gotten away with it once.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
So
there.
it needs to swing back hard, and people need to be held accountable for what they've done. Otherwise, we'll have the same problem in 5 or 10 years if it swings back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they're depending on the goodwill of people because, like I always say, when everyone's like, "Why do they feel like they can bash Christians but they don't bash other things, other religions?" And I
Uh-huh.
always say, "Because we don't go out and blow things up, and that is our, in my humble opinion, our greatest strength, and also perhaps from a certain point of view, our greatest weakness. Because yes, we will turn the other cheek and allow ourselves to get we will be the ones to get blown up and not do the blowing
Well,
up.
nowadays, if I may be blunt, I'm rarely blunt, but I want to try it. Uh, Nowadays, if you turn the other cheek, that means you're asking for deeper ramming because that's what you're gonna get.
Yes, I know. I just got it, and I got the imagery. You're right. Well, like I said, it's been controversial since forever, but it's also the same thing. Is that there's obviously one group that'll go and burn down places or strip naked in the middle of the movie theater to protest, and another group that won't. Um, Oh no. No. Okay, potato rabbit. Oh, Google canceled a load of Pride events because the employees complained and said it went against Christian values and since values and defended them, and Google removed it. I'm in shock. Oh yeah, for sure. Now, this is an interesting question for those of you that have seen The Last Duel. I don't entirely think so, because I have read the account. He's Gord King. You didn't think the last third was kind of feminist. From what I've been able to find out about that story, that's the act that they made up and presented as a truth. Well, what they presented as a truth is that was the story that she told.
Yeah, that was just her part of the story.
Yeah, but they
All,
did
all,
present.
all of them had their own version of the story. Hers was just told last.
Yeah, but he is right that they did present it as the truth when you see the editing. So if from that point of view, it's like yes, that the woman's version was the truth, maybe. But even the way that her version of the story was, it really, in my humble opinion, was not feminist. I think it was very true to the times and very true and authentic to what we know of the trial. And because they wrote all that stuff down. Um, but it's unpleasant, but it's a way to show that you can make, maybe if you will, an authentic feminist message, like back when feminism meant something completely different.
Yeah, because this wasn't. Here's the thing: feminism is one thing. Third wave feminism
Mhm.
is an entirely different thing.
Yes. Yes. I'll get to your point in a second, Gord Truth. Orange Hat says, I will have to check out The Last Duel.
Yeah, do
Yes.
it.
Do it. If for any reason, and I'll say this once, I'll say this twice, say it 3 times, because this was the crap I studied in college. Renaissance Reformation studies. Okay, Middle Ages was a little bit before, but the same era, same idea, if you will. Oh gosh, all the historians are going, it's not the same era. But it really, really showed the relations between the sexes authentically, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And then at the end, oh my gosh, that duel. And it was blow for blow, exactly the way it was described. And just seeing Adam Driver and himself, they just really reenacted the hell out of that battle. I mean, you really see what a duel would have been like with all that armor and the like, and even to the last words that are said, that is it. But it was also, if you will, even though it was presented, well, it was presented the way it was. The fact that her husband, I forget what the character's name is, a real person. The fact that he put his life on the line at her word to prove that she was raped. You know,
Oh, it wasn't just that. He did it for selfish reasons too.
well, that's what I'm saying is there was a little more than that because it was a pride issue as well. But even that was, he did put his life on the line. He was as much dead as she was in that situation. And yes, you are correct. That's, I think, what I was trying to say is that when they do show hers, the way they edit it, the last things you see is the truth. So they are kind of saying that version is the truth, but uh, it's still pretty authentic. I mean, obviously, the one I've always held that the Adam Driver character guy, yeah, he was deluding himself. He was having
Yeah, because that one thing that started most of it only happened in his version
hmm
when he was drunk. So he obviously dreamt it and thought it had been real.
yeah,
So he didn't do it out of evil. He just thought it had happened.
yeah. Well, and a little bit of that stupid pride because of the way it ended. I can't do it without spoiling it, but in that world, if you watch A Man for All Seasons, you'll know what I'm talking about. When you swear an oath, they genuinely believed, and I actually genuinely still believe this, that if you swear an oath, like on the Bible or on a crucifix or before God, and you are lying, that you are damned. And the fact that he genuinely, the real guy, and shown also by Adam Driver, it's an amazing performance by Adam Driver, that as bad as he was, he would not have sworn, that he did believe that. And they even show him going to confession and stuff. Like, you do not lie to God. That was a part of where they were. He genuinely believed he did not rape her. Though it's, yeah, he did. Potato Ribbon. I hated third wave feminism for so long, but I'm in shock of late. I'm on a trad feminine side, and I will stand with them to protect women and your rights to keep your spaces you earn, not your costume. Well, yeah, and here's the thing. When you talk about authentic, I call it authentic feminism. When you're looking at people like Susan B. Anthony, a lot of the women, Sojourner Truth, women like Florence Nightingale and Harriet Tubman, those were what we used to call feminists, which was genuinely, equal rights for women, property rights for women, the right to vote, all of those things. That's what feminism was. It wasn't a man-hating thing. It was these are women's rights. And of course, they were Christian women, so they even would say our rights under God. Yeah, that we have the same dignity under God, and so we have these rights.
Yeah, a lot of them were. It was all fair. I mean, if you do the same amount of work at the same place, you should have, the same wages. That's there's nothing wrong with that, and they should be allowed to vote as well. Well, you could argue that has it done any good, but still, that they should have the right.
And the right to inherit. I mean, it really was
Yeah.
absurd that the idea that women could not inherit. So, like, if there were no sons, it would go to like your cousin or something. That's what
Yeah,
Jane Austen wrote about.
they would be left with absolutely nothing, which is
Or at the mercy of the male heir who might give them an allowance.
yeah.
And well, yeah, so that's what I call genuine feminism. Yeah.
Yeah, and here's the thing: it should never have been called feminism.
Well, I'm sorry,
because it's more a general rights issue.
Yeah,
Common sense.
Yes, and I need to double check my history because it may be that I don't know when the actual word feminism was used.
Well,
And
it
how.
probably got added because it was, the women were the ones doing the complaining, basically.
Yeah, and the work. And so in a more positive sense, yeah. But that it's a human rights. And then, of course, it got hijacked. And we're not going there because, remember, I'm bowing down before my overlords at YouTube because I'm this close to monetization. But it starts with an A, it has a more, and it has a shun, which was absolutely as far away from the original pioneers of women's rights that it is today.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Every movement will eventually be hijacked by nutcases. And they're the ones who become the loudest.
Yeah. Yeah, and they say that the squeaky wheel gets the
grease.
Thank you, gets the grease. Yeah, I'm like, oh crap. How does that go? Yeah, and you're right, Potato Revan. Yeah. If you're not, oh gosh. And this is why I tell people I have layers of betrayal, if you will. And one of my non-negotiables is if you lie to me. I will forgive you if you wronged me. But if you lie to me, I cannot forgive that. Okay, I can forgive it like as far as intellectually, like I can forgive like the Christian forgiveness. Okay, I forgive you, but then it's like, but you're done with, I'm done with you because if you lie, and of course the definition of a lie is where you deliberately know you're lying. Sometimes people misunderstand it. It's like if you're mistaken, that is not a lie, but if you deliberately lie about me, to me, you cannot come back from that.
I found that a lot of people who lie often do it without even realizing it because they're so used to it and so deluded that they're basically trying to twist the truth in a way that in their head no longer makes it a lie.
Correct. Which then we get that gets into psychopathies.
Yeah.
Yeah. True story. And you see Potato Reverend, you see this wouldn't work nowadays, but yeah, one of the old kings of Spain, his daughter was his only heir. He made all the lords swear fealty as a princess, which they can't break their oaths because so the queen became uncontested. And also talking about William the Bastard, where they made him swear on a holy relic. That kind of stuff worked back then because there was at least a sense of honor and a sense of fear of God, but not today. Okay, here we go. Gordon, yeah, it says the truth according to and then all the way. Yeah, the truth. Yeah, that's what I said. That's what I said. It did do that. You are correct. I said that it did that. The squeaky wheel gets fed here. Oh, yeah. If you don't know about Tommy and the Guinea Pig Collective and his very frightening guinea pigs, um, yeah, they resistance is futile. Resistance is futile. Potato Revan says, "I can forgive you, but can never trust you again." Absolutely, darn right. Yeah, and that's what I mean when I say when I say Christian forgiveness, I'm talking more about like the higher level of where you can forgive someone objectively and intellectually, because if for no other reason, you need to forgive them for yourself so that you do not stew on it, so you do not become bitter. But you are under
I'll
no obligation to be around that person ever again.
I'll forgive someone if they lied for a good reason, you know.
Oh, well, yeah.
If they lied to avoid more harm,
Hmm.
but usually people will just lie when they're caught or something. You know,
Yeah.
it's usually for selfish reasons. You
Yeah.
know,
And that's where, not to get into Catholic explaining, this would be something I did do in Catholic explaining about the seven deadly sins, is the idea of habitual sin. Like a venial sin usually becomes a mortal sin because once you get into the habit, you can't break the habit. Like if lying or something or is automatic, if it becomes something that's part of your it kind of becomes part of your character, and if you don't nip it in the bud, you'll do it with bigger things, and then again, it's almost impossible to come back from that.
well, it will erode your soul
Hmm.
and add a constant growing negativity to you,
Yeah,
and negative energy. Too much negative energy sends you to hell,
yeah. Oh,
basically.
yeah. From a certain point of view, yes. The idea that you send yourself to hell.
Yeah.
And C.S. Lewis always says, he said it well when he said, the door of hell is locked from the inside. Um, yeah, we're getting deep here at Miss Martin Muses. Potato Raven. Only time I lied of late was when my grandfather's dog was dying to her brother. He is autistic and wouldn't understand. As mom explained it to him, broke my heart to lie to him. Yeah.
I I lied once when I said my dick was 7 inches, when it was in fact 9.
Stink. Yeah, and I think that what we're talking about too is quote unquote lying for a good reason. Yeah, like someone's dying and I don't know. It's like, and they're like, "Oh, is so and so okay? Did they come back from the war?" It's like, "Oh yeah, they're safe, they're fine." The person's dead in the trenches in World War One, or the lie of what the scenario is when a Yahtzee comes in and says, "Are you hiding any Jews here?" And you say no. It's like that is the
No,
kind of lie that is forgivable.
you say no.
No, you lied better than that. You don't lie like one of your D&D SPCs. And Tommy says, most lie, then have to lie again and try to cover the lie. Perpetual. Yep, the perpetual circuit. And that's why what they call practicing habitual virtue is the same way that you work up your muscles when you're lifting or you're exercising, all of that. You do the exact same thing with good works and good deeds and acts of love. And so you try to make that your habit and not the other. TMI Steeg. Oh, I think he was lying. I know the part that was the lie in that, and it may not be what Steeg ever thought. Little white lies nobody ever had. And another example. I hope I'm not triggering anyone. If you got little kids, mute. We've all lied about Santa Claus. We've all lied.
I didn't.
Okay, how did you break a child's heart?
I said it doesn't exist.
Okay, Maury, since you have a heart, all right, Maury, haven't we all lied to a kid when they ask you if Santa Claus is real?
Yes.
Yes, that's the right answer. Oh, I can't tell you how many times little kids, when the argument would come up. And
You're
then,
supposed to tell them that it's not Santa Claus, it's Satan Claus. And that, if you're not good, he's going to eat you on Christmas Eve while everyone else gets presents.
This is, and
That way, the kid will behave out of fear. And then the next day happens and gets presents, right? And the kid will think, damn, my best friend living next door must have been bad because I got presents and he must have gotten eaten.
Okay, maybe if it's your own kids, but when you are an educator.
No, don't fuck up your own kids. Fuck up your neighbor's kids.
Because I'm saying, see, that's where I would get the evil emails and get called into the office. It's like, so, Miss Martin, what's this about? Santa? Okay. Let's see. Orange Hat Review says, I have Santa on video. Those Oreos and milk were so good. Grandpa Steve. Oh, yeah. Hey, I've done that. I've eaten the cookies and the milk and all that. It's a fantastic way to get them to be good. My cuz, when she was a little, she swore she saw Santa and went on reindeer ride with him where their dad was like, was she high when she went to the Santa Claus? It is a legal thing. That is correct.
Another thing you could do is make them watch Child's Play or something before Christmas Eve so they'll be afraid of the toys.
Genie back. Don't do that. I mean, this was not a thing when I was a kid, but I don't know who started this. But the whole, you've got to spread out like seeds or some sort of crap out in the front yard for the reindeer to eat. Like
the reindeer food.
Yeah. It's like, what the hell is this? And it's like, just do it. Potato Ribbon says there is an Irish grave of St. Nicholas. Parents legit bring their kids to the grave and tell them Santa's
Yeah, they're like, the English kill them.
Oh, no.
Just to raise them right.
Just get them to hate the English. Oh gosh, that's terrible. Oh dear. We're all in trouble now. But remember, your people were some of the people that settled both in England and in Ireland and Normandy. I have proof of Normandy. That's why I'm here. Let them watch Gremlins once. Gremlins kill Sam G.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a Christmas movie too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. You talk about that traumatizing story where she's like, her dad dressing like Santa and then he fell and broke his neck.
Oh, man.
It's like, that's messed up. But of course, I'm like, Dad, what kind of an idiot are you? You don't climb down the friggin' chimney. You pretend you came out of the chimney. You're right, Archer Colin. Why lay reindeer food on the ground? They only land on the rooftops. Nope.
No, it's to make them crash into the wall. Because they'll go in for the landing, seeing the food, and they'll crash.
There you go.
That's how Rudolph got his red nose. He's bloodied from smashing into the walls.
Well, we know the real reason he had a red nose. He'd been hitting the reindeer spirits. All right. Well, we are definitely digressing wrestling. So we're coming up on the 2 hour mark. So we are going to end this party. Let me see something here. Tonight, well, Steve, why don't you tell us where you're going to be tonight?
Oh, Morris channel, Jade Shadow, for our monthly top 10. We are doing a top 10 live action and animated TV show intros. So it's our favorites, not necessarily the best.
Mm-hmm.
So nostalgia will be a thing. And it starts in an hour,
Yes.
I think.
Yes, it does start in an hour. Now she does. Oh, for fuck! Oh, pardon my French. She does not have the link to the stream yet, but I put a link to her channel. So please go ahead and subscribe to her. And when it is on, please watch her and Mara. We love Mara here at Miss Martin Muses. She is part of our game. We're about ready to start an 80s game. Kind of created by Stieg, an amalgamation of using Call of Cthulhu rules, and we've kind of helped create some of the characters as well. So goodness knows what Mara is going to be up to, but she sometimes will share role-playing game stories.
Oh yeah, she doesn't. You don't need to ask too hard for her to tell very detailed stories.
Some really messed up stuff. Yeah, well, we're very toxic. We're probably the most toxic. Are we the most toxic people you've played with?
No.
No? Oh, that's actually kind of disturbing. Well, you've told me a few of the stories of y'all get up to wild stuff over there in Norway. Yes, thank you, Tommy. Let's see, and of course, Steek's going to be with me for our final stream on Saturday. It's so exciting. We're finally gonna be done, but it's been a happy kind of done. But it'll be our 10th episode, or sorry, 10th book and 2 years. So, but we will still be talking about fantasy every now and then, but just fantasy books, but just not in detail the way we have before. I think that's it, Steve. Nothing really else.
No.
You're on. You'll just see him often here on Miss Martin Musics when I have these impromptu streams. I'm going to be continuing with them as much as I can. I'm getting to get these watch hours. I'm almost there. So if you wouldn't mind, like, sharing, subscribing, and watching the material as I get those watch hours. I've got everything else also upcoming for me. You can see me over on Nina Infinity's channel every now and then. Also, I have some videos put together. I've got my close encounters of the third kind, where I go through the solfege and with the aliens and how they're communicating with each other. I have some Tom Shippey scholarship I'm going to be sharing, and some other lore of fairy tales. I have added them all up because I will be heading out to do some caregiving over the next 2 weeks. So I wanted to kind of save them up because I don't know when I can go live. It's usually a very, very busy time for us. Oh gosh. Thank you again. Once again, thank you everyone in the chat. Steve, do you still go to a Viking? Do you still go Viking at the monasteries? Haven't had a good raid in years.
I'm too lazy.
Archer Collin, many years ago, I played a bespoke Dark Ages Cthulhu game. We never finished it. I suspect one of the characters would have ended up becoming King Arthur. Timon, I have a DM story where the players got themselves killed in 15 minutes after 2 hours of character creations. Oh my gosh, you were the DM. Oh, it sounds like you were the Grim Reaper. And of course, Maury, thank you for being able to pop on and share your stories. If you weren't there at the beginning, she met Julian Sands. And yeah. And mainly you'll just see me on my channel, right? Every now and then we do the triple reviews. We're trying to do some of them. But There's been RV situations.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. They got the awning off yesterday, and that was almost a disaster. Ava almost got killed.
Oh my gosh. You
She
see,
didn't.
George is still wild as always. Yeah.
Yeah, she had her run.
Oh my gosh, yeah. See, that's why. Well, I'm glad Ava's still with us. That's her
Yes.
cousin.
But they got it all cleaned up, and it looks nice.
Okay, there you go. So that's the reason why you haven't been seeing her, Maury and Eddie on too much because, yeah, the RV has been too busy trying to kill wives and cousins. So, but we're hoping some more, and we're going to hope to get Tammy back on too for some Once Upon a Time every now and then. Oh, Pub Crawl is continuing on Thursday with Biggles Mets. He hasn't yet come up with a topic, but please tune in for that. Also, Monday, we're going to be talking about whiskey recipes, me and Salty Texas Sea, and then Nina Infinity. Topic to be determined, Magitech Mags, and Drunk 3PO date to be determined. So the pub crawl has been loads of fun. And maybe more double picks as well. So this is probably one of the longest outros I've had in quite a while. But please go over to Mara's channel and let's see. Have a great day, everyone. Have a great day, and be certain to always watch good entertainment, play good video games, and stay away from RVs.
And Santa got killed by flak.